Hi, I'm Mrs. Gregg, and I'd like to welcome you to our first video lesson in Honors Chemistry. We are going to do a couple of these video lessons throughout the year, so I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get you acquainted with the format. First, a little bit about me, for those of you who didn't have me last year. This is my fourth year at Alexander, and this year I'm teaching biology and chemistry. I have degrees in chemical engineering and also in education. I started out as a chemical engineer and also did a little bit of laboratory research. I did that for about 10 years. And then I had kids and decided that education was really my calling. So I went back to school, and here I am. There's my family, my husband, 2 kids. All right, enough about me. What are we learning this year in chemistry? What I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and have your syllabus, which looks like this. There we go. And also your classroom rules and procedures documents. Have those out so that you can follow along. Okay, as far as the topics that we're going to cover this year in chemistry, we'll start out with atomic theory. We'll learn exactly what an atom is. In fact, we'll start this week, I believe. Then we'll move into the periodic table, learn how it's arranged, why it's arranged the way it is, what that arrangement means, what kinds of trends you can find in the periodic table. Then we move on to how bonds are formed, the different types of bonds, and the naming of compounds. We work with chemical reactions, balancing those. That's where that algebra really comes into play. And then we'll finish out the year with some thermodynamics, like exothermic, endothermic reactions, what happens there, and also some acids and bases. So that's the year in review. I do want to reiterate, some of you met me at Fall Bash, and we talked about the fact that honors chemistry is very, very math intensive. So you really needed to have done well in algebra last year. If you had an A or a B, then I feel pretty comfortable with your math skills and that you'll do okay. But you really need to be very comfortable solving algebraic equations if you are going to be successful in chemistry this year. That's something you need to think about. Also, if you are signed up for honors chemistry now as a sophomore, then that means that you intend on taking physics as either a junior or a senior. In order to graduate from high school, you have to have either physics or physical science. If you are not intending on taking physics as a junior or senior, and instead you're going to take physical science, then I advise for you to go ahead and drop back and take physical science now. Save chemistry for later. You can always take honors chemistry next year as a junior. But I really don't think that you want to be sitting in a classroom full of sophomores as a junior or a senior if you change your mind and decide that you don't want to take physics as a junior or senior. So that's also something that you need to think about now as your future plans for science classes. All right, so if you are sticking with me in honors chemistry, you're planning on taking physics as a junior or a senior. All right, so as you look at your syllabus, there's a grading plan, talks about how you're going to be graded. 50% of your grade comes from major assessments. So tests, lab reports, projects, that's 50%. Minor assessments are things like quizzes, daily work, homework, classwork, that type of stuff. That's going to be 30% of your grade. And then the last part there, 20%, is your midterm and final exams. There is no EOC in chemistry. Okay, what do you need supply-wise? You need a scientific calculator. I've spoken with some of you, and most of you have calculators that you used in algebra last year. That's perfect. That's sufficient. If you don't, then just a little $10 cheapy scientific calculator that will show things in powers of 10. That's what we mean by scientific notation. You need that. You need a composition notebook. Looks like this. That's what we're going to do labs in this year in order to get you prepared for the routines of college. That's what you'd expect in a college chemistry class. And then the rest of that is what you had for biology last year. So you need a binder to hang on to all those loose papers. Dividers will help you stay organized, paper, pens, pencils, all that good stuff. Anyway, the sooner the better, but at least you need to have all of those supplies ready by Monday, August 14th. All right, so moving on down the syllabus. Let's see. Let's stop at the bottom of page 2 where we talk about academic honesty. It's very important that whatever work you do is your own work. Cheating is not going to help anyone. You'll only be cheating yourself. I'm sure you've heard that before. But with chemistry in particular, you need all of that practice. So you do need to be doing your own work. And it details out there what I call plagiarism and what qualifies as cheating in my class. So do make sure that you're doing your own work so that you will do well. Okay, on down to the makeup work policy. All right, if you are absent, make sure that you check end grade first. Okay, those of you who had me last year, you know how much I use end grade. If you didn't have me, there's how I use end grade. For each unit, I will do, for all of chemistry, we're going to have one wiki this year. And then underneath that wiki, we're going to have separate pages for each unit. I have streamlined it a little bit since last year. Okay, so only one wiki for chemistry this year. The opening will be, the first page is a calendar. It shows what I plan on doing that week. So you can figure out, if you were absent, what did I miss today? Check the calendar. The next part is organized according to unit. And what I do is a table of contents, and that shows exactly what should be in your binder. So here for the introduction stuff that we're doing this week, you're going to have a table of contents where you start out with something that helps you get organized. You'll have your syllabus and classroom rules and procedures that we're talking about right now. Anyway, this lays out exactly how your notebook should be organized. So if you've missed something, then you can go to the table of contents, click on it, find it, print it out, take care of it at home. If we worked on a worksheet or something like that, go ahead and work on it at home so you don't fall too far behind when you're absent. Okay, all the other stuff that we do in class, if we use presentations, if I assign a video, if there's a PowerPoint, all that stuff is in here. So you just need to get an end grade and explore a little bit. And your password from last year should still work. If it doesn't, see me and we'll make sure that you get a password. All right, so ideally, make sure that you get any kind of missed work out of end grade. If you can't print stuff out at home or for whatever reason can't get to end grade, then you need to pick it up in class. You help yourself at the notebooks that are up by my desk. They're on the countertop. You come in before school. That's what I prefer so that we aren't disrupting class. Come in before school, help yourself to whatever you have missed. If you can't come in before school, then definitely make sure that you're taking care of that before the bell rings. All right, we don't have time to hold up class to help you with makeup work. Ask a friend and get them to help you figure out what we missed that day in the binder. The other thing, if you missed a test, that has to be scheduled after school, and we're going to do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just let me know so I can plan to stay with you. Something a little bit different this year, we're not going to make up quizzes. The way we're going to do quizzes, I will drop the lowest quiz grade, so if you miss one quiz, not a big deal. That just becomes a dropped grade. If you start missing 2 and 3 and 4 quizzes, then what we're going to do is replace that quiz grade with the test grade for that unit. Okay, the idea with quizzes is that I need to get them back to students very quickly, ideally in class or the very next day in class. So it's really difficult to hang on to papers and wait for other students to make up quizzes. You kind of miss the point of doing a quiz to get that quick feedback so you know as a student whether or not you're learning correctly. So quizzes are a minor part of your grade anyway. You'll still get the quiz paper so that you know what we did in class that day, but we're just not going to do makeup quizzes. Your unit test will count for a makeup quiz after that first freebie. Late work, no late work in honors chemistry. You've got to stay on top of your assignments. You cannot fall behind. However, if you are a student who does fall behind regularly and you don't do your work regularly, I will be happy to assign Saturday school so that you can make up that work, because I've got to make sure that you're getting all the concepts, and the only way that you're going to do that is if you do the work that I assign you. So Saturday school happens about once a month. If you start missing a handful of assignments, you'll be spending your Saturday making up those assignments so that you are caught up and you're not falling behind. All right, so to review, we are definitely using end grade. Get in there, play around with it, make sure that you understand how chemistry is going to be organized this year. And then remind, I use a lot as well. I'll remind you of tests or homework or whatever you need to do, and there's the sign-up code. Also, if you get stuck with homework, if you're at home and you're not exactly sure about something, you have a question about something, sometimes I will check my messages. You can try to direct message me. And if I'm paying attention, I'll respond to you. Can't promise, though. All right. I do want you to go ahead and read through the rest of the syllabus on your own. And then I want you to get out the classroom rules and procedures. We're not going to go over all of the procedures in detail. We're going to talk about those in class. But here we're going to go ahead and lay out the rules so you do know the behavior that I expect in class. All right. First one, you need to make sure that you're following directions immediately the first time they're given. Make sure that you are in your seat and ready to work when the tardy bell rings. We only have 45 minutes in class, so it's very important that we use all 45 minutes. We usually do a warm-up. You need to make sure that you are started on that warm-up when the bell rings. Make sure that you have everything that you need. Number 3, that you've got your notebook, paper, whatever we're using that day. If you had homework, make sure that you've got it with you. Number 4, make sure that you're quiet while I'm talking. Show me respect. Number 5 is to raise your hand, which is particularly important during discussions so that we're taking turns and not talking over each other. But also, if you're going to get up and leave your seat, I need to know what kind of a mission you're on. So let me know where you're headed if you need to leave your seat. Raise your hand and let me know. Last one is cell phones. I really feel it's important that I have your undivided attention in class. So what we're going to do is deposit all cell phones in the organizer at the front of the class. I'm sure you've seen, or you will see, the numbered organizer at the front on the closet. You're going to deposit your cell phone in there, and then I can have your full undivided attention for all 45 minutes, and you can pick up that cell phone at the end of class. All right, consequences. I'll give you a warning. I might give you the evil eye. You'll know why I'm giving you the evil eye. New seat assignment. If you're sitting by a buddy and y'all just cannot control yourselves during class, you're having too many conversations, then I'll move you up front, separate you. We'll have detention after class if I have to, have a conversation with you. And we're kind of progressing through the severity here. I'm happy to call home or let a coach know that your behavior is not appropriate, and then we move to the most severe, which is detention after school, or else you get a referral to an administrator. That's just so you know. All right, your homework. Your syllabus and the classroom rules and procedures that we just talked about. I want you to go ahead and get a parent signature on those. Make sure that you have read through them in detail. We'll talk about some of the other highlights in class, but this is pretty much it for how we're going to review. And then the third one there, the safety contract, you will receive that on the first day of class. We are going to talk about the safety contract in detail because it's very important that you understand proper safety procedure in the lab. So we will spend a day or two explicitly going over all the different safety procedures that we have in the chemistry lab. But I do want you to go ahead and read through the safety contract to familiarize yourself with these things before we talk about them, and make sure that you go ahead and get a parent signature on that safety contract. Make sure that you sign up for Remind text messaging. Also, I don't have on there, but make sure that you go through N-Grade and that you understand how it's laid out, how it works. And then the last one there is make sure that you have purchased your supplies by Monday so you're ready to go. I'm looking forward to an awesome year in chemistry. So take care and we'll see you in class.